We're one of 5 trusts in Northern Ireland. If you were to divide Northern Ireland into 4, the Royal Jubilee is the regional centre which sits in the middle, and we're the lower right-hand quadrant. We have maternity sites way down in Downpatrick, where 100 babies would be born there yearly. It's a midwifery-led unit, and they look after 1,200 women antenatally, postnatally. Over in Lisburn is another midwifery-led unit. There's about 200 babies delivered there every year, and they look after 1,500 women antenatally, postnatally. And up at the top there is the Ulster Hospital based at Dundonald, which is the consultant-led unit with a stand-alongside midwifery unit, and it delivers about 4.5 babies every year. 4,500, sorry. Okay, so there was our brand new maternity unit, which was opened in 2007. It was built after our old building, which was built in the 60s. Needed to be badly refurbished. It was too loose for 20 women. So the building is all singing, all dancing, designed by midwives and women with great input. All have stand alongside or stand-alone midwifery units. As I keep saying, midwifery units right, left and centre, all the accoutrements for as normal and as active a birth as possible. Water pools in every room. And it was last week actually, we celebrated our 2000th water birth at the Ulster Hospital. About 5,000 babies have been born in our stand alongside unit, and we had brought over speakers like Diane, Dennis Walsh, lots of other eminent speakers who very focused on normality and active birth. I'll fly past that picture quickly because the midwives concerned hate the picture. Betty thinks she's no teeth and Catherine has her eyes closed. But they're very proud of baby Leah and her 2000th birth. We also in Northern Ireland have a normal birth strategy where they were all very focused on normalising birth. And you're now thinking, I'm at the wrong conference. No, I was asked to look at the midwives' perspective, and a very eminent obstetrician once said that midwives are trained that everything is normal until it's abnormal, and obstetricians are trained that everything is abnormal until it's normal, and somewhere we have to meet in the middle. So the midwife's perspective for me is being a couple of steps ahead. Just as when we were designing that new build, we would put in 7 water pools. Where do we need to be with pre-eclampsia? Well, we need to be one step ahead of the women. So what are women doing today? They're Googling, or they're binging, or they're iPadding. And if you Google pre-eclampsia, you'll get nearly 1 million hits. So, lots of sites. Women are being told by these sites that preeclampsia is common and dangerous and a killer, that pregnancy and childbirth can end in death and mourning. So let's go on to a couple of reputable sites, and there's lots of information there. Women are actually able to Google the same information that you will get through your training. They will be looking for their headache, their visual disturbances, pain below their ribs. So if you're doing an antenatal review and a woman is saying to you, is my blood pressure up? Do I look swollen? There might be something at the back of her mind that she's really meaning. Goes on about if you're over 40, you have a family history, a previous pregnancy, starting to get a bit scary. And if you go into Boots, it even goes into HELP syndrome. So a lot of women come to you are well educated in what they have found on Google. BMIs, I've picked this up particularly. BMI greater than 30. These are the stats for the South Eastern Trust over the last 5 years. And you can see year on year increase in BMIs over 30. Just look at that bottom line for a wee minute because I've moved it on to the next slide. And I asked for the forecast for the end of March. And in this last year, there seems to be a dramatic increase of a 2% increase in BMIs over 30. Particularly in the over 35, there has been an increase. Now that's just within our trust. It'd be interesting looking at all the trusts. So we're getting bigger. But also on the internet, you'll find remedies. Internet sites can tell you about alternative therapies to use for preeclampsia. This one was talking about vitamins, herbal medicines. One research talked about garlic. So if a pregnant woman said to you at an antenatal clinic, is it okay if I take hawthorn berries when I'm pregnant? Would you know? Because I certainly wouldn't. Exercise. Aerobic exercise increases fitness in pregnancy and may increase preeclampsia, but too much exercise may actually cause preeclampsia. A new study found that stretching could reduce preeclampsia. The Food Village talks about food that you can eat, all aiming to reduce preeclampsia. This is dietary advice you'd be giving your mothers anyway. Milk, eggs, vegetables, fruit. So advice continues. Herbal teas with dandelion, celery or raspberry. Thin slices of beetroot. Would you know if they came with all this information? What on earth would you say? Chinese medicine and acupuncture. I love acupuncture because I have really bad back and acupuncture really helps my back, but I wouldn't know enough about it to advise anybody for preeclampsia. Vitamin D. A Swedish study had looked at snuff instead of cigarette smoking, but it didn't work, so don't do that. Try and stay away from traffic because pollution might aid preeclampsia. Treatment. Don't worry, you can come into hospital and get mag sulf, but that might result in muscle weakness, trouble focusing your eyes, lack of energy, headache, flushing, sweating, nausea and vomiting. You might really want to stay with your preeclampsia. The best advice I found in the net. How many people really get themselves physically fit before embarking on pregnancy? Okay, so the poor woman's confused, and I don't think the midwives are far behind her with all that information. Teamwork, I think, is the best answer. Collaboration and cooperation. What is the midwife's role? The midwife's role is to risk assess at every opportunity and refer at the earliest opportunity. This is the South Eastern Trust Guideline for severe preeclampsia or eclampsia, and you can see that that was produced by one of the consultant obstetricians and one of the practice development midwives working collaboratively. So all trusts should have their own guidelines what to do in that event. If Maria had asked me for one slide, this would have been my one slide. That we start off from a knowledge and training base, knowing what it is, what it looks like. Then we refer to our guidelines and the guidance that we have. We give the information to mothers to the best of our ability. We interpret what we can for mothers, but that might be quite confusing given what's out there on the net. Risk assessment is key. Be alert to when it can happen. The one thing that sticks in my mind as a fairly junior midwife was a normal woman with a low-risk labour, low-risk birth. Came back postnatally with the baby in her arms. Everything was wonderful, and just as she was being pushed into her bed space, she complained of severe chest pain and then started fitting just like that. So it can happen so quickly. Just being alert. Refer, call for help at the earliest opportunity, and if you're in a midwifery-led unit way out in the back of beyond, that you advise up to senior colleagues. I think we all have a vested interest in the health of the next generation. That's my second grandson, Max, who looks as if he could do me a good scrub. Great big healthy baby, and whether it is your son or your grandson or your niece or your nephew, we want a healthy generation. They're growing up to be technophobes. Max at 3 weeks looking at his big brother's thing, so we're all going to be into technology. So that's my leaving thought for you. Thank you very much.